Okay, so if Aledo is so great, then why does anybody leave? So in this video, I'm gonna cover the top 5 reasons that people leave Aledo, Texas. Stick around to the end because I'm gonna start at number 5 and work down to number 1. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below as we go through the video. Now, if this is your first time on the channel and you wanna know everything there is to know about living in Aledo, Texas, make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell for notifications to make sure you get kept up to date about everything that's going on in the Aledo area. My name's Jared with Living in Aledo, Texas, and I get calls and texts all the time from people just like you who are thinking about moving to the Aledo area, and I love it. So whether you're thinking about moving next week or next year, all my contact information is in the description box below. Feel free to reach out however you are most comfortable, and I look forward to helping you make a smooth move to Aledo. Okay, let's jump into the top 5 reasons that people leave Aledo, Texas. I'm gonna start at reason number 5 and work down to reason number 1. So stick around to the end to see the most common reason that people leave Aledo. Okay, well, we're gonna start with number 5, and that is because some people who move out to Aledo, they like the idea of, these bigger lots or these newer homes. They like the idea of living outside the city, realize they actually don't like it, and they like living inside a major city like Fort Worth better. And first off, I gotta say, these people are wrong. But all kidding aside, there are some people who have a strong preference to live in, more historic neighborhoods, more central to like downtown areas. They really don't wanna have to drive more than like 10 or 12 minutes anywhere. And that is a benefit of living like really central inside the loop in Fort Worth, inside 820, is if you are in the right spot, you can go anywhere you need to go, downtown, the universities, your job, and be within 10 or 12 minutes. But if you're out in Aledo, you're gonna be 20 plus minutes away, 20-ish minutes for Walsh. I do have a friend of a friend who moved out to Walsh. They bought the big fancy brand new home and they realized they liked Fort Worth better. They sold like a brand new home and moved back into a home in Fort Worth that was built in like the 1940s. So they were a very specific type of person. That's really not the majority of people. Most people that move out to Aledo don't have a problem not being in the big city. Okay, now reason number 4 that people leave Aledo, and this is really kind of a combo reason. It's one of 2 things, but they're related. One of them is people who have been in Aledo a long time, and Aledo has become too big city for them. So, which is really funny. Aledo is not a big city. It still has a very small city feel, but there are people who've been here for 30, 40 years and they're like, I don't like all this development. So that's one, and they want to move somewhere else. And if they want to move somewhere else, I'll get to that in a second where that is, because then the second set of people under this category are people who have moved to Aledo recently. Maybe they bought their first home and now they are wanting to upgrade. So maybe they bought in the brand new subdivision, quarter-acre lots, max, new home, but they're like, you know what? What I thought of when I think of Aledo, I wanna have a larger lot, I wanna have mature trees, I want a bigger home. And what's happened with inflation and home appreciation and high interest rates is it really doesn't make a lot of sense for them financially to a home like that in Aledo. And so both of these types of people, the ones who want to move up and stay in Aledo, and the ones who want to get out of Aledo, like the original Aledo, both of these people, top of their list is Brock. So I'm gonna have another video about Brock at some point. It's kind of like the new Aledo, but Brock has a strong, highly rated school district. It's another 15 to 20 minutes west, so further from Fort Worth. But for those who think Aledo is too big, that's a great fit for them. And for those who want to stay in Aledo and want to upgrade their home, they can buy a similar home for $100,000 to $200,000 less out in Brock. I have clients right now who bought a home in Morningstar with me a number of years ago. They have a couple of kids now. They're looking for a bigger lot, a pool, bigger home, all the trees. And when we were looking for that, the home we found in Brock, I'll say it this way, is in the 600s. A similar home in the Aledo area would be in the 700s or 800s. So for those that the geographical working location is not as important, maybe you work from home most of the time or you're totally remote, then Brock is a really good option for you because you're not going to pay the Aledo premium. That's kind of what I call it with people. They're looking for homes, they just want to be west of Fort Worth. There's an Aledo premium associated with the school district when it comes to home values, which we'll talk about, have talked about, will be on other videos as well. But again, that number 4 reason is a combo. One, some people think Aledo is too big, and then in conjunction with that, all that development, Aledo has become more expensive. So those who want to stay in Aledo or want what Aledo offers, but don't want to pay Aledo prices, both of those people love Brock. So that would be another option for you if you were considering Aledo or wanting something like Aledo. Okay, reason number 3, and I'm going to try and be sensitive about this one but reason number 3 is essentially people aging out of living on their own. Now, if you think about the development history of Aledo, you have a lot of significant residential development in the 80s. So if you moved out here when you're in your 20s or 30s, it's been 40 or 50 years, you're getting to the point where you may not be able to live on your own. You think about the second big round of development was in the late 90s, early 2000s. And if you moved out here then and you were in your 40s or 50s, now you add 20 or 30 years there. Or maybe you moved out here in your 60s and you've been here for 20 years because this was kind of your home outside of the Metroplex. You wanted your acre, you wanted to relax, get away from the hustle and bustle. Now you might be in your 80s. So there's a pretty significant population that are just aging out in the Aledo area. Now don't get me wrong, the majority of the population, especially the growing part of the population, is people moving into Aledo with their kids for the school district. So it's not that we're an old city, but there's still a pretty significant number of those people in the greater area. So those people are now, maybe they're moving to assisted living, independent living, maybe memory care. We went through that process with my grandmother. It wasn't in Aledo, but in Arlington where I grew up. And, she got sick, she was older, she had memory issues, diagnosed with cancer and can't live on their own. And eventually you have to sell the house. Maybe it's to help pay for the memory care or for, whatever the care that's needed. Maybe they pass away. And so then you have, I have a client flying in from out of state to meet to talk about selling their parents' home that was a family home for like 40 years. But, kids are grown, they have their own kids, maybe they already have their grandkids. And that's while not the biggest, we have reasons 2 and 1 coming up, those are homes that you're gonna see in the Aledo area. And buying a home like that can sometimes be a really nice option if you're willing to do some work yourself. Because rather than paying the top dollar for someone else's upgraded home, you can buy a home that needs updates. You can buy it at a fair price and do your own updates and upgrades to make that home exactly how you want it. Okay, getting to reason number 2, I've had a number of clients sell for this reason and leave Aledo. And that is maybe they're empty nesters and they just want to downsize. All their kids have graduated, they've gotten their kids through college, and so maybe their kids used their Aledo home as home base during the summers, but now their kids are grown, they're living their life, maybe they're married, maybe they have grandkids, and so these people who are in their 60s plus or minus, whatever you say, 50s, 60s, maybe early 70s, if all their kids are gone somewhere else, they are sometimes choosing to, 1, go live closer to their parents to help take care of their parents, like I mentioned in reason number 3, or they're moving to live closer to their grandkids. That's another option. And then sometimes they just want to take the freedom that they've worked so long for, and they want to travel. They want to go live in the mountains. They want to go live on the beach. They want the freedom to do that. And Aledo has served the purpose. A great community with great schools and a strong family environment. They're just kind of out of that stage. So that draw for them is no longer there and they're going and looking for other things. So essentially people relocating because they're in different stages of life, typically the older stages of life, is a fairly common reason for someone to leave Aledo of those people who are leaving Aledo. Okay, reason number 1, by far the most popular reason and the most common reason that people I know have left Aledo is for job relocations. DFW as a whole is a major employer, which means they have a lot of big corporations, but we're not the only place with big corporations. So those big corporations like Raytheon, out in Arizona, they've hired my friends from the area because they were employed by a big corporation here and they're pulling them out. I've had friends who, worked at Lockheed and Suzuki hired them to go to North Dakota or wherever they were going. Simply like big corporations, doctors. I've had clients relocate, like a dental client, a dentist, relocated his whole practice just to be closer to family, kind of like the previous reason. And then oil and gas, mentioned it on the last video, 10 things you should know about Texas before you move here, is oil and gas is a major industry in Texas. There's a lot of people in that industry here in DFW, but also out in West Texas. I think my last client that left Aledo, he was in the oil and gas industry, and he got a new position to head up a division of an oil and gas company out in Midland. So job relocation is by far the #1 reason people leave Aledo. Okay, well that's a wrap for the top 5 reasons people leave Aledo, Texas. I'm sorry to disappoint if you are waiting around for something salacious or crazy. There is no mortal flaw to the Aledo area. It is just a great place to live, but there are reasons to leave. So remember, whether you're thinking about moving next week or next year, all my contact information is in the description box below. Reach out however you are most comfortable, and I look forward to helping you make a smooth move to the Aledo area.